So I'm starting to build my new, extend my deck, my front porch out a little bit with a deck. So I've torn off the railing I had. It's right there. I'll still use it. I'll put it out at the front edge of the deck. So the deck is going to come out to about where that, come out to where that 4x4 is. Right there. And I drilled anchors, these things. I drill a hole and put an anchor in it, and then you can bolt that. That's an old one, but then I can bolt this board to the wall, and then I'll lay board sideways on that out to there, and then of course cover it with decking. So right now what I'm doing, yesterday I put this in. Instead of concreting the 4x4, the wood into the concrete, I put one of these. I made one of these. I welded some of these up, and so I put these down in concrete around them, and then I can bolt the 4x4 to it. That way it doesn't sit down and rot. Even though this is pressure treated and it's not supposed to rot, I've seen it happen. So that's why I'm doing this. So I'm going to put this one in over here now. I'll have to dig this hole bigger, but I'm going to put it in and concrete it in for a post over here, and I'll put one more in the middle. So here's a batch of concrete I'm going to use to put the last, I put the end one in. I'm going to put the middle metal brace in, so that's what this is for. So I'll start by putting a just kind of a base layer in the hole. I'm not going to make this one as full as the other ones. It's not going to need quite as much rigidity as the corner ones. So I'm going to go a little easy on the concrete. In fact, I probably made more than I need. So I've got a base layer in there now. I'm going to put this in. And then I'm going to have to take a measurement so I have it the right distance from that wall out to here. And that's going to take 2 hands, so I'm going to have to turn this off. Okay, both of those are set. And I'm probably going to go ahead and give them a couple of days before I do anything else, just to let them get good and hard. Okay, well, I haven't done a very good job of documenting this. Got a cold going on, but I'm working on it this weekend. So I've made some progress. So I'm mounting, I just went over to my parents' house. My bandsaw is not working, so I used my dad's and cut this beam out. I've got to clean up the cuts a little bit. So I'll cut that and anchor it to the concrete block there, and that will be, there will be a railing then from here over to that, and then I'm gonna finish the handrail here too. So I ended up doing this a little differently. I ended up putting a new piece on and moving it up, and it sits just slightly up above this, so I can put some spacers on the concrete before I lay the decking down, so the decking's not laying right on the concrete. And then I decided to let the ends go ahead and stick out and be decorative. So we got that going as well. And I made caps that simulate this, that have the same shape as the faces here. That was an interesting cut to do. And then I'll paint the whole thing the same color. I'm doing it all with reclaimed wood, so I'm having to do a lot of sanding. Okay. Alright, so yesterday I finished just the last bit of frame and put primer paint on all the parts that are going to show. So now I'm going to put the red color on all the parts that are going to show. And I took these off so that I didn't have to paint over the bolts. So I'll paint those and then I'll put them back on. And then because I'm using reclaimed wood, I've got to sand all of this and get it ready. This is the decking. So I've got my work cut out for me today. And I'm going to have to cut more of those, the railing pieces, and paint them, because I'll need a lot more of them. Alright, I'm done putting the painting things and putting the posts back on. You can see a lot of unpainted spots, but those are the parts that aren't going to show once the deck is on. A lot of this will show when you're down in the driveway. The under part will show that part, so that's why I painted the under part of some of it. But from this side, you won't see it from below, so I didn't bother to paint them on this side. A little paint and time saving technique. So the next step is to start sanding that wood and start laying it down, the decking. Now I'm starting to sand the boards, set them in place. I've got to do some cutting of length still. But so I'm sanding them with this belt sander. That half is sanded, that half is not. So I'm pretty much just having to do the top and a little bit of the side that shows. Otherwise, I don't have to sand the whole thing because I'm not cleaning up the parts that don't show. Well, I've got the basic deck done and screwed down. Now I've got to tie the part that's going to go over the existing concrete in. So the first thing I'll have to do is, I built this just slightly high so that I could put spacers in down here. So there will be a very slight hollow underneath the deck that's on the concrete. That way water and stuff, the wood won't sit right in water if water is sitting on the porch. That's the idea. So that's another day's project. I'm pretty happy with what I've gotten done today.